Mic check, mic check. Test, test.
I hope the inn has something to warm me up.
Alright. I'm back now. And yeah, we're on the home stretch for this barbarian getting into Torment 4. I took some time to think about it while I was also off stream and trying to figure out, like, I guess, well, more or less, like, what I can do for this build. Uh, to really push it over the edge, right? To get into Torment 4. Um, and there's like a number of things that come to mind. Like just as an example, I think my glyphs. Oh, you know what? It's not the glyphs. It's this. I actually need to grab this cluster of nodes, because I think that'll like give me an extra 1,000 life or something like that, which is not trivial. So I'll probably run the pit to get that up to where it needs to be. The other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to re-roll. I have about 100 Obdicite remaining. I want to roll this off, and I need to hit either Strength Max Life or Belligerence. That would give me... Well, yeah, that would give me what I'm looking for here. Reset. I might have to do more Infernal Hordes or something, but... Oh, Max Life. Okay, that's good. So, that's a pretty sizable chunk of life, but I think I just got, like, a lot of life, if I remember right. Right, it's like 25%, so... Yeah. This is like... Went from like 1,000 life to like 1,200 life, something along those lines. And then I get all of my plus life modifiers, so yeah, that's good. All right, so everything is tempered on strength or max life at this point. And if I really wanted to take it one step further, I could try to masterwork this up to rank 8. I could masterwork my weapons to like rank 8 and do all that stuff. But as it stands right now, ooh, this is tempting. Lightning resistance. I could swap out my boots for these ones that I have, that I got, but then I'm trying to check my lightning resistance right now. Yeah, my lightning resistance is super overcapped. I should actually try to run these boots. It would be nice to get like enough obdicite. Uh, I'm already like past like the 10.5 hour mark at this point on the recording, so yeah, that would be the easiest way. Yeah. That'd be the easiest way to round out my resistances. But then again, I don't know if I really need to. So it's something to consider. Anyway, the very easiest way I would say that I can... I set to pit 45, I think pit 45 is okay here. All I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna run like a couple pit like 40s or pit 45s, and try to level, get a couple more Paragon points just so I can get this last batch of life modifiers. I think that's what I would need to do. I think that's highest priority. Now, I was thinking about where all my damage is coming from. It's actually Outburst, I think. Yeah, it's the second half of Outburst where I gain Thorns for every 40 bonus max life I have. I think that's what is causing me to do, like, ridiculous amounts of damage. What are my Thorns at? Like 10,000, or it's like 10.2k or something. Whenever I have Well, I mean, that's all because of that outburst. Like, the reason why my Thorns has gone all the way up from like 10k to like 50k, I think. I mean, aside from all the adjustments I made to my gear, but it's also partially because I've been leveling up my. I've been increasing my life as I've been going along. That's where it's coming from, and that in turn boosts outbursts. Hey, Lawless. When's the new season? I haven't been keeping up. Oh, that's easy enough to answer. It's scheduled to be released, like, barring any delays or technical issues, right? It is slated to be released on July the 1st. So, yeah, if you're looking to play the new season, yeah, it'll be out in probably around 30 days, really. Yeah, this PTR ends on Tuesday though, so that's why I'm like non-stop playing Diablo 4. I need to, no, I need to actually make sure that I make the most out of this PTR. Then I'm just looking to play with the new season stuff. Right? Yeah, that's fair. I mean, it's something to look forward to, but yeah, it's not gonna be. Well, yeah, it's not going to be up for about a month. I got plenty of things to do for a month. In fact, this season that's still going, like, I still have quite a bit of stuff that I'd want to do. I was like doing some playtesting on my own just before I started my stream, and I realized that overpower in season 9 is still very strong. But the fact that it's as strong as, well, it's actually very strong for season 9. But that's like after an 80% nerf to like overpower. So that kind of gets me thinking that, yeah, I should probably revisit my companion druid on live servers and try to see how far I can take it. I mean, I also have my sorcerer and all that. I've talked about that before, but yeah, it makes sense, but I won't be on when the season launches. Oh, I see what you're saying. So you're excited to play with the new season stuff, but you just won't be around when it like when they actually do the launch. Okay, well, yeah, I'm not sure what to tell you, mate. I guess just whenever you're available, like hop on and play, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. I think next season's gonna be kinda interesting. Well, I think that the changes made to Nightmare. Yeah, I would say that like it's starting to grow on me a little bit. First, I was very like, I felt like Nightmare Dungeons are just not really doing anything exciting for Nightmare Dungeons. I still think that, yeah, at their core, Nightmare Dungeons are largely the same. But I think the thing that kind of makes Nightmare Dungeons kind of cool now is that they allow you to choose what you'll get rewarded from Nightmare Dungeons, which I think is a really good change. Yeah, I think that's like one good call that they've made to make it so that you can actually choose your rewards. That's fun. But the other like, I think more importantly, I feel like next season is going to be tougher. Not everyone wants a challenge, I guess, but I think that the fact that there's a lot, like, I would think that there's going to be a lot more balance between different builds in the game. I don't know about between the classes, but like right now, right, like in season 9, the top dogs are like Death Trap and Lightning Spear. I think no one's gonna really argue that. I mean, there's like some other builds that are also pretty strong, but by and large, it's just Death Trap and Lightning Spear. But this upcoming season, you know, they're really tuning down like how strong a lot of these builds are that were dominating season 9 or season 8, sorry. So yeah, that's like one thing I'm pretty excited for, actually. It's not just the changes they're making, not just the things that they're adding. I think for me, having a chance to see other builds shine is interesting to me. Okay. Wow. I should be running Pit 40 then. This is taking too long. Ooh, Seething Hive Master. I should really have this if... I can actually kill him pretty quickly. Anyway. You're saying all... I didn't... Well, again, it depends what you mean by viable, right? Like, I hear this word thrown around a lot, but what exactly is viability? Like, yeah, I'm not trying to argue semantics, but your definition, like, my definition of viable is whether or not it can reach T4. And your definition of viable might be whether or not it can compete with every other build for pushing the pit. Or it could be whether or not it can reach pit 150 or even, like, let's say pit 100, right? And I think that in the upcoming season, no build will reach pit 150. There will be a few builds that can hit 100, but I think that every build with enough effort can make it into pit, like Torment 4 at least. So, if you're talking about just reaching Torment 4, I think that all builds will be capable of doing that at least. Is sort of how I feel. Yeah, I should do this one. Oh yeah, I'm mainly just doing this for the Paragon nodes. There. I need to run one more of these. Like, I need to go one more pit 40, I guess. So, yeah, you're asking me if I'm saying that all builds will be viable. What I'm saying is that the, I guess, power gap between builds shouldn't be as bad as in season 8, let alone season 7. I think that all the builds will have a chance to shine. Your version of viable is I can min-max and pit push with builds that are an S tier. Pit push. Okay, but like, what's the benchmark, right? Like, the benchmark of, like, when you say pit push, which pit tier are you talking about? Like, are you talking about, like, pushing pit 55 to unlock Torment 4, or are you talking about, like, pushing pit, like, 75? Because obviously, like, there's gonna be some builds that are gonna be able to do, like, pit 90 or even, like, pit 95, right? And in fact, like, dots, like Incinerate or Poison, there's like a unique jewel where that allows you to scale your damage infinitely. So I think a lot of dot builds are going to be like top dog next season, right? But if you're talking about, like, okay, like, I want my build to be able to push pit 70, then yes, I think that just about past 55, obviously. Okay, so see, you say obviously, but no, there's some people who really are okay just being able to clear, like, Torment 2 or Torment 3, right? That's why on season 8 there are some builds that can't push past 55. Might I ask which builds? Because I don't know of any builds that I would like. There are some builds that are going to take longer, right? Like Dance of Knives took me like 16 hours. Like, okay, sure, but by and large, I don't know of a single build that wouldn't be able to make it in Torment 4. Maybe a hot take, but that's why I'm like I'm so adamant about, like, what's the like, for me it's pretty obvious that any build can, or pretty much any build should be able to make it in Torment 4, unless, like, I'm crazy. But anyway, that's besides the point though. I'll tell you, like, here's the thing, Lawless. Like, a lot of the builds in, like, S+ tier right now are being, like, a lot of the builds that can push, like, pit 110 right now are getting brought down to, like, let's say, like, pit 90, okay? And then there's a lot of, let's say, like, basic skills. They really want basic skills to have a use. You do past 55, there's some builds that struggle to push the 60s and even 70s. Okay, so I can work with this. So, yes, there's a lot of builds that are being pushed up. Not every build. It's not going to be the case that, oh, every single build will be able to, like, clear, like, pit 70. I'm not going to guarantee that. I don't know every single build. But as an example, let's say basic skills, right? Basic skills, as you know, have been neglected since the release of Diablo 4. The reason why they're neglected is because when Diablo 4 launched, the intention was that basic skills are like a placeholder, or not a placeholder, but like they're kind of like a resource generator. Like think Necro, how you would use your basic skills to generate essence, and then you use your essence to use your core skills. Uh, Barbarians have a similar system, and you know, you get the point, right? But I think this coming season, one of the things that they are trying to emphasize is that yeah, they're really buffing basic skills. And when I say buffing, I'm not talking about like a 20% buff. I'm saying that they're basically like tripling the damage across the board for a lot of basic skills for the different like characters in the game. So so like tying this into your question, um there's some builds that have received some love, but it's not like every single build has received a buff of some kind, right? Like as an example, Blizzard. Blizzard is a build that I struggle quite a bit with, like just base Blizzard without ice spikes. As soon as I put on ice spikes, suddenly the build is like 10 times, like Blizzard is 10 times stronger, right? Um, but before I get ice spikes, just like plain Blizzard is pretty trashy in comparison, and that is something that hasn't changed with the release of this new season. They haven't really released any changes for Blizzard, right? So, um, I do hope that answers your question. I feel like that's a good enough, like that adequately. Like, is there a specific build that you're curious about? Let me ask that actually. I think that by and large I've answered your question as well as I could. Yeah, I'm glad that we had this discussion, by the way, because yeah, like it's nice to get a feel for what you consider to be viability, because you know it's exactly like I said. Like some people think Torment 1 is what they would consider is it viable, but for you, it's very obvious that you'd like to push for something like Pit 70, right? Um, yeah, like Pit 55 is like fair enough, like for it's like obvious, but yeah, if you're talking about like pushing Pit 70 and Pit 75, yeah, there's gonna be. I think that next season is gonna be even better for balance, I guess. Well, I don't know. It's a little complicated because even like last season, they made it more difficult than in like season 7, right? So anyway, I understand that it took 6 seasons before they did anything about Mini Necro. So I understand I'm not getting on you. Oh no. I didn't get that. I didn't get that impression at all. So no worries. I mean I appreciate you checking with me. But yeah, the thought did not even cross my mind that you're like getting up on my case, right? Not at all. I mean, I appreciate that, you know, you're trying to be considerate of that, but yeah, no, I get that having like what I consider to be a perfectly civil and healthy discussion. I'm just trying to like wrap my head around, I guess, the I'm just trying to figure out how best to answer it, right? Because I don't want to, on one hand, be like, oh yeah, uh, like yeah, they've done a lot in the game, and now they've made a lot more builds viable, or oh, hold on a second. I'm supposed to upgrade my glyph. I'm gonna do. I think this one's more important, actually. Mm, this one would be the best one to max out. Yeah, because this is damaged at least 8% across the board. Okay, yeah. Anyway, sorry. That's yeah. I needed a second there to sort that out, but I was trying to make a okay. Now we're talking. Full familiar sorcerer. Blizzard made them useless unless you use with other things, and I want to play a rogue build. Okay. Let's break this down. Not a fan of exploiting bug abuse slash exploiting abusing. Okay, all right. I'm gonna break down a couple of these, okay? Because that's like 3 different things that you've written here, and I'm gonna go through them one by one. This is good timing too, because I'm still in the middle of trying to level through running the pit. So the first thing is, you're just annoyed at Blizzard for not buffing certain classes, and annoyed with builds only working due to snapshotting. That's a fair complaint. I respect that. I think it is silly how, like for example, if you want to do like a pit push with Lightning Spear Sorcerer, you need to like keep re-rolling until like I don't understand how it works, but you need to re-roll until you get like the right setup. Like I remember, like I don't know if that's still the case this season, or if that's what people were complaining about. But you have like re-roll. You have like a 3% chance or something to get Lightning Spear or whatever to always be like an overpower crit. to like do the pit pushing. I don't know. So I get it. That's stupid. That should have been fixed ages ago, right? So I understand that. And you said not buffing certain classes. I get that too. I think the running gag is that Druid is a forgotten class. I think, to be honest, my complaint isn't that they neglect classes. I think it's that they neglect certain builds, right? Yeah. Here's a good example: Sorcerer. Every season, I see Sorcerer players complaining about Sorcerer, and then there's Sorcerer naysayers that say that, oh, Sorcerer doesn't need buffs, they're top dog. So this is a disconnect in the understanding of the class from two different groups of people, right? There's some people who see Sorcerer as an entire class, and there's some people who see Sorcerer on like a build by build basis. So the people who are looking at it from the perspective of the entire, like, on like a build by build basis, are like the people playing Sorcerer. They're like, oh, I want to play Chain Lightning. Oh, I want to play Ball Lightning, right? And so they're unhappy that, let's say, their Lightning Spear or their Chain Lightning build doesn't work, and then they say, oh, Sorcerer is a weak class because I can't play any of these builds I want to play. But of course, they disregard the big elephant in the room, which is, let's say, Lightning Spear, right? And that's exactly where all the naysayers for Sorcerer come in. They say, oh, well, Sorcerer is actually the strongest class in the game, right? And when they say that, what they mean is it's the strongest class in the game for pit pushing if you use Lightning Spear specifically, right? And that's why there's so many Sorcerer, like, I guess, people who complain about Sorcerer are really like saying to nerf not Sorcerer as an entire class, but just Lightning Spear specifically, because Lightning Spear is completely busted, right? Like it is. And it's kind of interesting because, like, if we look at like Rogue, um, Spiritborn, no, maybe not Spiritborn. Spiritborn is the odd one out. So Rogue, Necro, Druid, and not Sorcerer. I don't remember the other class. Like Barb, yeah, right. Like they're all within one pit tier clear of each other. So it's like pit 105, 106, 107, 108. I think that's pretty reasonable balance, right? Like, no, I'm okay with that. I think most people would be okay with that. But then all of a sudden you have a Lightning Spear, which is pushing pit 121. So yeah, there's definitely still some disparity there, but it's only Lightning Spear. So I can't emphasize enough that it's always very specific builds. So that's with regards to snapshotting. I'm with you on that. Okay, so now the second thing that you had wrote earlier, you wanted to make a full familiars build. Okay, let's break that down now. So Blizzard made them useless unless you use them with other things. I haven't used familiar myself, so I wouldn't know. But what I can tell you is that one of the reasons why I was reluctant to play Hydra for the last couple seasons is because I know that if I were to play Hydra, at the end of the day, I would need to play Lightning Spear along with Hydra. And if I'm playing other stuff along with Hydra, when I say other stuff, I mean like Ice Blades and, of course, Lightning Spear. And, of course, if I'm going to use Lightning Spear, then I might as well just commit to Lightning Spear, because Lightning Spear is doing like, what, 10, maybe even 100 times the damage of every other tool in my arsenal, right? So yeah. Anyway, so full familiars build, I can't really comment on whether familiar sorcerer is any good. But here's what I will say. Right now in season 8, Lightning Spear is like top dog. If you don't use Lightning Spear, it feels pretty bad, right? But this upcoming season, they're actually bringing down Lightning Spear to be a lot more in line with the other builds in the game, at least is my understanding. Like, they might release something that's more broken, I don't know, but at least so far as I can tell, they actually did nerf. Ooh, hold on, that's actually a pretty good one. Yeah, they did nerf a lot of the strongest available builds right now. And so since they've nerfed a lot of the big builds, that means it might not feel as bad to try to like push for familiar. But on the other hand, you got to keep in mind that last season, like season 8, right, with the boss powers give like some pretty crazy damage modifiers. Like 150% more damage is one of the boss powers right now. And then like there's like what 25% damage to all elements, stuff like that. You're getting like some pretty insane damage modifiers if you play in season 8. But in season 9, those are all gone. You're actually losing a lot of power that you would have had from the boss powers. So there's some trade-offs there, right? If you're trying to play familiars, then you had to be mindful that, yeah, like at least you have boss powers going for you that really amp up your damage. Um, but on the other hand, you won't necessarily need to combo that with Lightning Spear anymore. Or at least if you combo with Lightning Spear, it's not going to be the case. The Lightning Spear is doing like 100 times the damage of your familiar. So yeah, I need to kind of wanted to bring that up. And then the second half of what you wrote, yeah, I'd want to play a rogue build, but I notice majority of builds I click you have to snapshot. Okay, so this is an wait one sec. I'm just trying to see if there's anything else I can pick up here that sorry. Try to see if there's anything else I can grab that would really help my run out before I go in and begin my pit run. Oh, there's a cluster here. Okay, I gotta do some more. I gotta do some more leveling. There's one other thing I want to check out real quick. 11.2k. Yeah, each set of these Paragon nodes gives me like 1,000 life. Yeah, this one's gonna give me 8% life. Yeah, I mean, another 12%. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna keep pushing here. I'm gonna keep grabbing some more Paragon points. I might even be able to get another glyph up to like 46 at this rate. But anyway. So, yeah, I'm gonna go back to what you were talking about here real quickly. So, talking about majority of the builds you click, you have to snapshot. So, I feel, okay, I think that they're actually reducing. I think they're trying to really tone down the whole snapshotting situation. Like, you know, if you listen to if you look at other content creators, a lot of them might say otherwise, right? But just to give you an example, Zan rune, the rune that gives like crit overpower, now it only gives crit overpowers on like for like 0.35 seconds. Hits like that you do like for 0.35 seconds. So by doing this, they've made it so that you can't just snapshot like an entire skill cast like forever. And then I'm like thinking, oh yeah, Dance of Knives Rogue. So Dance of Knives Rogue, another thing that they did is that normally you would do Dance of Knives Rogue with concealment, or sorry, other way around. You do Cold Imbuement, then you do Concealment, and then you do Dance of Knives. Well, the thing is, now they've made it so that when you like the skill that breaks you out of concealment will cause all of your hits to be critical strikes and apply vulnerable for 4 seconds. So rather than your next skill cast, right? Like previously it was just your next skill cast because when the skill was first conceived, there was no Dance of Knives. So the idea was you would maybe throw like a penetrating shot or flurry, and there you go. That's where you use up the skill. But now but now, like the way they've reworked it, it makes it so that you can use it for like multiple flurries. You can use it for multiple like penetrating shot or whatever. But on the other hand, Dance of Knives, you can no longer like snapshot your crit strike and vulnerable for the entire duration of your Dance of Knives. That's one of the changes they made this season. So that part of it, like that part of snapshotting, they're really trying to dial that back down. I don't know about like other exploits or other ways to consistently get like some damage effect to go off though. I think those are things they're really trying to crack down on. That's the vibe I'm getting, but you know, maybe one or two will slip down the cracks, but at least as far as I can tell, they're going the right direction. Okay, I can't promise that you're gonna be like super satisfied with it, but at least as far as I can tell, like I just see a lot of W's in the patch notes. I think the Dance of Knives Rogue is gonna feel a lot worse, but a lot of builds are gonna feel a lot better with the changes that were made in that regard. Yeah, a lot of things are time based. Like, here's another example. There was a rune where it drains out all your primary resource to boost your damage by like 100%, right? Well, they made it so that that only lasts for 1 second now. It's not like, oh, well, your skill cast, let's say Dance of Knives, triggered that rune, and so now your entire Dance of Knives is 100% more damage. No, it's a hard cap at like 1 second. Same thing with Paragon nodes too. That the Rogue has. They've limited it to like, oh, well, you only have this bonus for 8 seconds rather than, oh, your next skill cast, right? So yeah, I think that they're really trying to crack down on that whole snapshotting thing. So hopefully that answers some of the things that you wrote. Not a big fan of bug exploiting, abusing. Yep, completely agree. Agree with that. The builds are never looked at. Yeah, no, definitely. A lot of individual builds are not really being looked at. The highest I end up getting with ice shards before getting off Diablo. That's fair. I respect that. I mean, I was actually watching like while I was, well, I mean, after I ended my stream, I had to go do other things, right? But while I was going and doing those things, I was listening to Riker's video. I don't know if you ever heard of Riker. He's like a big Diablo guy. I'm sure you have. He's like a pretty big name within the community. Anyway, so Riker was talking about progression, and he pointed out that, you know, a lot of people say there's no end game in the game, right? But that's actually, in a way, that's not really true. There's like many different activities to do in the game. There's Infernal Hordes, Nightmare Dungeons, Lair bosses, pit, etc. Right? But the problem is there's no reason to do these things. And the reason why there's no reason to do these things for most people is that the game is most fun when you have meaningful progression. Meaningful progression as in like, okay, you put in some time and then your build improves given the time that you put in, right? There comes a point where, for example, you could grind for a mythic that has like 4 GA, but it would probably take you like, let's say 100 hours to do. I'm just gonna throw out a number. And it just takes the amount of reward that you get for the amount of time you put in is just not really worth it. Like once you reach that point, that's when a lot of people get bored of the game and stop playing. And it's true. I agree with that, right? Like I think that a lot of people who play will be perfectly okay grinding for like hours on end and the first like look at I mean, like, yeah, when you're grinding out from like Paragon 1 all the way to Paragon 200, yeah, you're gonna be more than willing to like grind the game out during those levels because you're constantly getting like buffs to your character. That's a given. But what happens when all your glyphs are like 100? And then you have like, let's say like 2 GAs on all your stuff, then okay, that's when things kind of start to slow down a bit because you have to spend like 2, maybe 3 days grinding out Obdicite and then trying to remasterwork your gear until you get the right rolls. And no one really wants to do that. So yeah, I I hear you. I hear you about ice shards. Like you stop at 65. Fair enough. I would probably do the same. Although I don't know if you end up abusing the crit overpower like Banished Lord's Talisman, because I remember clearing pit 55 without, you know, overpower, but then as soon as I put on overpower, I suddenly got like 6 times the amount of damage. Right, that had to be fixed too this upcoming season. I'm glad that they're nerfing it by like 80%, but to be honest, I think it's still, there's going to be a hot take, but I think overpower might still be too strong. um Yeah. Yeah, I'm not gonna discuss that right now, but I went like on Eternal Realm just before I started the stream. I was like testing my druid and I realized that yeah, if I overpower, my overpower is hitting for, oh sorry, my regular hits are hitting for like 20 to 30 million. As soon as I get like a crit overpower, suddenly I'm hitting for 100, maybe even 120 million. My overpower is still giving me 4 times the amount of damage I had without it. So, kind of, and that's on a build that doesn't really do overpower. normally. So I'm sort of like, okay, now imagine a build that does do overpower or like does build for overpower, right? Like, yeah, there's definitely some weirdness going on there, but yeah. A lot of my builds I base it off the build. I don't base it off of seasonal powers. Look, I respect that. That's good. Um, yeah, I can understand why. You'll be pleased to know that this in this upcoming season, okay? Um, the way the seasonal powers works, they're not just giving you more damage, right? What they give are like these I'll call them utility effects. So like, this one will give you a barrier. Uh, let's pretend this. Let's not talk about jagged bramble for a second. And then this one applies vulnerable, right? So maybe if your build doesn't normally have vulnerable, you can get vulnerable from the seasonal powers, and then you can get barrier, and then there's another one where you can like execute monsters, right? These don't really like cause your build to do 100 times more damage. It's just a nice add-on right now. So I think that's one of the interesting things about this season. They're not trying to amp up your damage numbers. The powers they're giving you are meant to give you more effects that you might not normally have access to. Yeah, here's another one. I'd love to maybe like build like fortify on my sorcerer and yeah, or something. And then the other thing Lala said, I don't know if you're still here hanging out, if I've talked you to death, but I'm gonna assume you're still here. Said that okay, yeah, you're still here. You said that you're glad they're fixing it, but Blizzard should have fixed this when it became a big problem. Okay, hold on a second. Let me take care of my equipment first. Ooh, what's Oh, I gotta upgrade this first of all. And Tusk Helm. Oh, this is a good roll too. Attack speed while berserking. Too bad it's not GA on life. I would have actually considered using this. Yeah, maybe. Alright. I'm gonna salvage all this. I'm gonna salvage all this and then I'm gonna go into the next pit. Because I think I'm still missing a couple Paragon points from being able to do what I need to do. Here. So that's 2. Where's my life? Okay, yeah, here it is. I still need another 1 or 2 pits. And then maybe I do another 1 or 2 pits after that just to get my other glyph to 46. I don't know. I'll see. It seems like overkill, but at least I have a good idea as to what I need to do to get this build in a state where I can handle pit 55. Okay, so the comment that Lawless made, which I think I agree with here, you're glad they're fixing it, but Blizzard should have fixed this when it became a big problem. Like, I guess, when it first became a problem. This has been a problem from Season 3, in my opinion. Yeah. And the exploit I've been seeing is health exploits and damage exploits. Okay, yeah. I hate to say it, but normally I try to give them benefit of the doubt. I try to take things with a grain of salt. I actually am 100% in agreement with you. I can't really defend them on this one. Yeah, I think a prime example is Cataclysm Druid. Yeah. Like, Cataclysm Druid should not exist. I don't know, like, yeah, Cataclysm Druid should just, like, that. Okay, Cataclysm Druid is fine, okay? Let me fix what I said there. Cataclysm Druid is fine, but the way it was in Season 7, like, it just should never have been like that to begin with. And same thing with, like, well, there's, like, a number of cases where this whole, like, snapshotting thing is, like, an issue, right? Dance of Knives, to be honest, like, I know a lot of people love the Dance of Knives playstyle, but it should never have been that strong. Not even that strong, but the fact that you could, like, get, like, crit and vulnerable on every single hit for the entire duration of Dance of Knives was kind of nutty. Like, I don't understand. Like, it just doesn't make much sense, I think. But you know what? That's that's a separate discussion. Like I'll just focus on like the exploits. When it was first discovered that you could like stack like, and I think it was like season 3, right? People discovered that you could. There's like some aspects where you could just retain damage modifiers if you like have like a higher roll, and then you switch it out when you already have a different item slot that has that aspect already. Bugs like that should be like patched immediately as soon as they're discovered. And like, yeah, Cataclysm reached like pit 150 on day 1 of season 7, but that shouldn't have prevented them from actually rolling out a fix for it. Yeah, those should have been patched immediately, right? I'm sure that there's other ones, but you know, those don't come to mind right off the top of my head. Yeah, there's probably plenty of other good examples. Snapshot exploit, health exploit. I don't know which health exploit. That one I'm not familiar with. I know that there was like there was like an elixir that gave people like 100,000% life or something like that. But you know, I mean, obviously, yeah, that one they patched within a day. Like, okay, sure, that was kind of crazy too, right? But somebody made a mistake there somewhere. Anyway. Yeah, which utility is nice? I agree. The other hot take I have. Okay, I'll read this. I'll read the comments in order here. So, which utility is nice than damage add-ons? Because I know the last couple seasons, it's been the powers are too strong versus the build itself. You know what? I completely agree. Yeah, I mean, I agree well, to some extent. I don't agree like 100% on this one. The snapshot thing I do agree with, but the um like, because there was like, I think there were people saying like in past seasons that the game is not really trying to measure one's capability in some of the past seasons was like, it wasn't really people figuring out who had the most skill or which build was the strongest. It was just which build could abuse some bug the hardest in some of the previous seasons. I'm gonna do one more. And that was clearly like a horrible way to balance the game. So, yeah. Anyway, that was just something I wanted to mention, like with regards to what we were talking about earlier. But when we're talking about like, yeah, last couple seasons have been too, like, the powers are too strong versus the build itself. So it really depends. Like, season 8 PTR was a prime example of when the powers were super dominant over everything else. Season 7 was a season where the powers themselves weren't doing like way more damage than the skills you use, but the effects that they were giving were like insane. Like making it so that like summons could always like have 100% crit chance when you activate your ultimate skill or something like that. Yeah, that was kind of insane. Right? It's nice to have a season in which a lot of the damage comes from just the build itself. And I'm gonna tell you right now that aside from like damage, like, again, I'm giving you the fair warning on this, damage over time builds for this upcoming season are gonna be pretty nasty because of the Herodic Jewel that they're releasing. The way that Herodic Jewel works is if a monster takes damage over time from you, then they will take 0.33% multiplicative more damage over time from you forever. Like, you know, per tick or something like that. So with that in mind, right, there's gonna be some builds that can like infinitely scale their damage, and other builds don't have access to that. But aside from that, I don't really see anything which is just super dominant over like skills themselves. Like I know that this disintegrate beam is really strong, but I think that that's like bugged. Or not, maybe not bugged, but it's just like really overtuned. Um, yeah, that's probably something that'll get a nerf, right? Like season 9 PTR, everything's subject to change, and I'm sure they'll do something about that one, but all the other ones, if anything, could use a buff, I think. So, so yeah, when you say that, yeah, like the powers are too strong versus the build itself, yeah, like past seasons, I think that, yeah, there's like some pretty good examples. Like even like boss powers, like my Thorns Barb was really just dependent on, uh, like the power levels were weird. Most of the boss powers were effectively worthless, even if I had them maxed, like as a main power. But then there were a few powers like Harbinger of Hatred's Volley where I was actually able to do like it was just because of that one power that I was able to actually clear Pit 55 on my Thorns Barb, right? So I completely understand what you mean. Like there's some seasons and some powers that are just ridiculously strong. Varshan's I think Varshan's as a modifier power was also really broken last season until they actually patched it. So yeah, there's been like a few good examples of that. Um, so yeah, this season, I guess you'll be pleased. Not everyone's gonna be happy about this, myself included. Like I actually like seeing higher damage numbers, but you'll be pleased to know that, yeah, like I think this season is going to be a season in which the majority of your damage at least comes just from your build, and then the powers themselves are giving you utility that you might not normally have access to. Status effects like Fear, or uh, you know, Barrier, Fortify, Execute Vulnerable, and I mean, I'm sure I could find other examples, but you get the idea. So that's what next season is gonna bring for you. You strike me as the type of person who would actually enjoy that a lot more than most other people, so that might be something for you to look forward to. Okay. Uh, uh, it's like almost maxed. All right. What's my life total at now? So if I take these off, I'm at 12.1k, and then as soon as I put these on, I'm up to 14,000 life. Yeah, like these damage increases are actually pretty nuts. Uh, and then if I really wanted to, I think I should really try to level this all the way to 46. Just for good measure. I don't want to go into pit 55 and then find out that I can't deal with the boss because I'm short like a little bit of damage. Or worse yet, like I roll like a bad boss, like, oh, I don't know, Chief Marauder, and then I struggle a lot to kill him because it's like a single target. I'd rather like clear pit 55 on the first try no matter what. So this is a good chance to test to my ability to clear pit 55 because I have plenty of herbs. This is the perfect time to use them. 2. Oh, no, I should do these ones. Okay. Yep. I'm gonna drink these potions. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I'm just basically just gonna be spamming this until I clear until I get my glyph maxed, so that's the plan. Okay, the other thing you wrote earlier was, I agree, the other hot take I have is, as a community, I think they shouldn't be promoted, but can't control what people do. Whoa, hold on. What do you mean, should... Oh, no, I understand. I see why you would say that's a hot take. I'm not like, oh, hold on. These guys are taking a while to die. See, there's another power that also breaks barrier, right? Like, that would be a very useful one here that's like, again, it doesn't boost damage, but it would be very helpful. The one for, like, breaking DR, I actually really like that one. Like, the funny thing is, like, yeah, they added, like, a Hydra unique that everyone's gonna get in on, but if they didn't add it, I would have played Hydra this season just because, yeah, if I can play, like, if I can get rid of DR, which... you know, with this power I can, then suddenly that actually mitigates one of the biggest weaknesses of Hydra in the first place. So that's good. Oh, wow. I actually have close to 27,000 life. I didn't even realize. All right. And I could boost it even higher if I wanted to. But okay, I guess I uh, had the right idea here with what I ended up planning out. Um, so yeah, I'm like thinking about it, right? So this is what comes to mind. You're saying that these exploits shouldn't be promoted, and intuitively I agree, but I think that one of the counter arguments I've seen is that the more that these exploits get promoted, the more likely it is that the developers actually have to do something about it because, well, yeah, once everybody's using it, then they have to actually try to fix the problem rather than just sweeping it under the rug, right? Um, I mean, not everyone's going to agree with that logic, and but also like it's impossible to completely, you know, ignore that exploit too. Like, think about this: if your goal is to push the pit, would like, you know, some people are gonna say, "Oh, I don't want to use this bug, or I don't want to do any sort of bug abuse," which is fair. But I mean, there are some people who want to push pit 150 by any means necessary. And in that case, right, they'll put out a video, like they want to put out a video and say like, "Oh, hey, I hit 150," and what are they gonna do? Like they're gonna just tell people, "Oh yeah, that the build is just this strong," and then just not pay like give any attention to the exploit that they use. It just doesn't seem like a very realistic option. So I kind of understand why they would, you know, like I just don't know if like I that one really is a hot take. I can't fully agree with it. Um, I remember in the past, like if there was an exploit, like in other games that I played, right? If there was an exploit, like let's say, like the original like Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, I remember that there was a bug where, like the people who run the game, um, warned like the people who are playing that, hey, you shouldn't be abusing this bug because it's clearly not an intended behavior, and if you abuse it, then you're actually at risk of getting banned. Uh, and because like it's not an accident, right? Like you have to go through a very specific and deliberate sequence of actions that will lead you to, well, get a certain outcome, right? Um, so you know, back then, that's what they did. They actually were keen on like banning people who exploited that bug, but yeah, in Diablo 4, there's not really any penalty to it. So why wouldn't people like abuse it? And then yeah, if the developers want to do something about it, then I'll let them do something about it, right? So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's uh like in theory or ideally, yeah, like people should just like keep quiet about it, give like submit like a bug report over to the developers, and then let them come up with a fix for it, right? Like not, and you know, not have a bunch of people trying to exploit this bug. But on the other hand, like in practice, that's just not really an available option. Um, and besides, right, like these are also content creators too. Like they want to get some views and whatnot. So I don't know. I understand both sides of it. I personally, as I mean, you've seen my gameplay. I actively avoid using bugs, except for with the companion druid just now, like on during the PTR where the masks were working was like messed up. Okay, that one, like there's like nothing I could do about that really. So, you know, like whatever, I guess. Um, yeah. So that's like the one time I recall abusing something, but otherwise, yeah, like I'm not the biggest fan of abusing these like exploits and whatnot. Um, generally speaking, it's understandable though if that power is meant to be used that way. I can get behind, but the power is being used to bug or something that isn't intended. My problem with Blizzard, yeah, for sure, right? And then you said you're a big fan of dots. Of course, it's no lies. Blight used to be my go-to build before they made it terrible. I don't know. I mean, I haven't played enough Blight, so I'm not actually super familiar with it. Can I just tank it? I actually can tank it pretty nicely. Whoa. Am I seeing this right? My. Okay, well, this is, I can't... I actually can't do anything. I'm actually stuck in this state. I don't know how I ended up in this state, but... Yeah, I have no idea what sequence of events led me here, but I can not move from this current position. I can't activate any of my skills aside from the skills that specifically... aside from the skills that are, like, can be cast while moving. Okay, well, I would report that bug, I just don't know how I got that. As a game developer, you shouldn't wait until your community is abusing something, but again, that's my take. That's true. I completely agree with that, yes. I mean, that's why I enjoy WoW, though I've seen the developers say that you bug abuse or something and not intend the game, then you will be penalized. Yeah. Are you on PTR? Hey, Infinite X. No, I'm on PTR. I'm gonna be on PTR for the next week until Tuesday, like when the PTR ends. Yeah. Why is that? Sorry. Like if you're looking for like some assistance, I wouldn't be able to help you. Sorry to say. My focus is on, you know, prepping all these guides for when, and gameplay for when the season 9 actually begins. So I can't. I'm not. I'm not on live server, and I won't be on live server for another week. But you pretty much do a disclaimer saying it's not intended. Yeah, definitely agree that their communication could use some work too. Yeah, I wish I could. Like the thing is, I'm not normally keen on like agreeing to everything somebody says. Like I'm not just a yes person. I don't like to just be the yes man, but yeah, everything you're saying, yeah, I do agree. I feel the same way. It's just that like how things should be is just not how they're going to ever be in practice, right? Like I completely agree with you that yeah, the developers should be a lot more proactive about fixing the problems. And if they can't fix the problem, then they should at least tell people that something is like an exploit and shouldn't be abused. Maybe even, you know, penalize people for it if it's like something like really egregious. But I think that I don't know if I'd go as far as penalizing people for Diablo 4 though, just because like what's the worst case scenario if somebody exploits a bug, right? I guess dupes are kind of annoying, but at the end of the day, it's not like if you were like abuse something in, let's say, League of Legends, it would be obviously a lot worse because, you know, there's other, it's like a PvP game. But here, if you're just going up against like, you know, regular random AI monsters, then I don't think anyone really cares. So yeah. They nerfed Shadow Blight to where Dot isn't playable for Necro anymore, in my opinion. What did they do? What did they do to Shadow Blight? Infinite Axe, you said WoW gotcha. WoW, like, what's WoW about that? The thing is, like, I mean, one of the issues is, I mean, I had to, like, uninstall, like, to make room, for, like, recording gameplay and, you know, PTR, I had to even uninstall live server. So even if I wanted to play live server right now, I can't. Like, I just don't have enough. I just don't have it installed right now. I won't have it installed until Tuesday when the PTR is over. So, something to keep in mind. Alright. Yeah, I just can't believe that I had to take a death there because of that bug, but alright, whatever. There, done. Ring of the Moonrise and 50 obols. Maybe I made a bit of an error here. I should have done pit 45 instead rather than a pit 50. If I did a pit 45, then I could have like probably still gotten a good percentage chance on trying to upgrade. But anyway, sure, whatever. Whoa, that is some lag. Wow was for the stuck glitch. Oh yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, that was very unfortunate, let's just say. Uh yeah, that was pretty bad. Gotcha was for running PTR for this week. Oh, I see. Yeah, sorry about that. I'd love to play like on live server. I would like to play live server. I mean, the thing is, Infinite Act. Oh, how are you doing, by the way? I haven't had a chance to chat with you, I don't think, throughout this week. I have seen you on. Like, I saw you on. Um, yeah, I have seen you on, but yeah, unfortunately, yeah, like I'm not on live server. No, there. I think there you are. Yeah, there you are. And I think you had your like crazy. Oh, I can't even take a look at your items because I'm on PTR. Okay, I'm gonna do pit 45 again real quick, and then I'll do pit 50 after. Very unfortunate. I'm on live right now because I got sick of the notifications when I try to do the PTR being constant. Sorry, you got sick of the notifications? Like, what notifications? I'm not sure I follow in this case. Yeah, that was a stupid bug, though. Lawless, you were saying, I mean, Blizzard could... I was talking about you with your companion build or with Dance of Knives, you give a disclaimer. Yeah, that's true. I did give a disclaimer. Like, I talked about, like, okay, well, you know, the masterworking does look like this. But, I mean, the build is... I mean, it still functions fine, right? Like, without it. And then, same with the Dance of Knives route. Well, but the thing is, like, I'm not gonna... Yeah. Anyway, I'm not... I get what you mean. Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, I don't always give a disclaimer is what I'm trying to get at. I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, yo, this Dance of Knives rogue, I have to use snapshotting. Like, I don't think that that's a thing that people ever really... Like, I have this discussion with you, but I don't think I've ever needed to have it with anyone else, you know? But yeah, the other part of it you were talking about, you said, I still think it kills a community. If the whole community is using something not intended, then why would people play Diablo 4? And yeah, again, I actually fully agree. Like, yeah, like if the game is centered around bug abuse, then, you know, what was the point of playing the game, right? And, like, you know what? You know what? I think the best example is actually Season 6. I think Season 6 is a prime example of, like how do I even describe Season 6, right? You know Season 6. Like, Season of Spiritborn. Yeah, that was a very ridiculous season. There's no... Like, the weird thing is, that season was actually a lot of fun, aside from the fact that you couldn't play anything except for Spiritborn. Because, you know, like, all the other classes were actually, like, very close to each other in terms of power, right? It was just Spiritborn that was the one very egregious exception. And yeah, like, that's something that should have been patched, like, immediately, like, right away. Like it made no sense that a Spiritborn could do, like, 11 trillion damage, and then other builds could barely scrape by, like, 100 billion. Not that those numbers really mean anything. It's, they stop meaning anything at some point. Once I hear the word billion, my brain just checks out. So, yeah, I agree with you. Like, there's just some things that, you know, don't make sense for, like, for them to still be in the game. Yeah, like Spiritborn, like I said, and what are some of the other ones? Right, like the whole snapshotting thing with, like, what, 2 seasons ago? Lightning speed, or not, like snapshot cataclysm, that kind of stuff. Yeah, that was nonsense. No, it was bugged. It was definitely bugged. Like, I know because I was trying to make my own overpower lightning or chain lightning build, and it was not overpower was not working as intended. My build was actually unplayable because of these bugs, and yet other people were able to make like push like close to pit 150 or even reach pit 150 because they were able to abuse these same bugs. So yeah, I just want to be able to play like a proper overpowered chain lightning sorcerer that's not completely broken, but I guess I'll have to wait until some other season to do that. Except now they're nerfing it into the ground, so I don't even know anymore. It's actually pretty funny. No one's talking about that for sorcerer, right? Like the fact that, yeah, like if you want to play a chain lightning sorcerer, then yeah, you should just make it overpower, and then suddenly you get like a 5 times damage boost. Like I want to show you something in a little bit. Constant achievement notes it wouldn't stop. Oh, I see. Yeah, okay, fair. Although, alrighty though, brother. It's 4 a.m. I'm off to bed. Oh, okay. Well, yeah, I really appreciate the chat, Lawless. I mean, yeah, this is good timing for you to go to bed because, I'm actually probably gonna be done within the hour. Okay, well, within a half hour, I think. Yeah, I'm just trying to like level my glyph to 46, and then I'm gonna attempt pit 55 after. Like that's like the last thing I need to do. Just level this last glyph, and then I'll be ready to, I'll be ready to grind pit 55 and hope for the best. So, if you're hopping off, then yeah, you can catch the ending tomorrow if you care to see that for the Thorns Barb. All good, best of luck, man. Yeah, you too, dude. Really appreciate the discussion. You giving me company the last like, how long has this stream been going on for? Like an hour? Allowed me to actually, well, I mean time flew because we got to chat about all these different things. You raised some really good points. Like I know, like these are things that I inherently know, but I don't actively think about. If that makes sense. Things like, yeah, like there's like a bunch of people like there's exploiting in the game. Like they should communicate like, oh yeah, this is an unintended behavior. Things like that. But yeah, I just think that at the end of the day, I'm just gonna enjoy the game for what it is. I think the game can always be better, but at the same time, like, it seems like they already have their hands full as it is. You know me, I always watch your YouTube. Yeah, I just don't know if you care for Thorns Barb. I know you like your sorcerer, but Thorns Barb might be, well, not your cup of tea. Anyway, Dicker, you have a good night, dude. OP is nerf in PTR. That's a funny joke. I like that. Hold on a second. Shoot. I can't do it just yet. I have to wait until... I have to actually do my next pit run, and then I want to show you something before I attempt my pit 55. Okay? I also need to restart my game anyway, so that I don't crash during the pit 55 run, so this actually works out perfectly. Can you stay for, like, maybe 10 minutes, Infinite Axe? Because I need to show you something, okay? You're saying that overpower is nerf in PTR? Yeah, that's kind of that is a joke. Okay, that's actually a joke. And I'll show you why in a little bit. Okay, not trying to sound like a not trying to sound like a jerk or anything, but man, like their nerf is okay. It has been nerfed. Okay, but here's the thing. They said in the campfire chat that the nerf was 80%, but I think that it's still very strong. And I'll show you what I mean. Okay. Because this makes no sense to me. I'm here. OP is nerf for Rogue at least. Okay, maybe, you know what? Maybe the nerf was enough that now you're not doing like hundreds of billions of damage or something. But truth be told, it's still a very big like damage multiplier. Yeah, like I want to show you something. Doesn't hit Barb as hard. No. I'm not talking about Barb. I'm not talking about Rogue. I'm actually talking about Druid. And when I talk about Druid, I'm talking about Companion Druid. Believe it or not, I'm talking about Companion Druid. And it's funny because there are people complaining about, oh, like, like there's a lot of builds that rely on overpower and like what? They're gonna nerf overpower into the ground by like 80%. Well, I'm gonna be honest, like even a crit, like even them nerfing this whole overpower thing by 80% is not enough to kill most of these builds. Like it was that strong. even with an 80% nerf, it just feels so strong. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I gotta show you this. Doesn't hit Barb as hard. Rogue DT was overpower center. Yeah, that... I don't know what I, like... I don't know what I can say to that. Death Trap is interesting. Let's just say that. I haven't played Death Trap, so I wouldn't know, but I mean, yeah, the fact that, well, yeah, it's like flavor of the season for a reason, right? Like, just look at it. They clearly had to do something about Death Trap, or at least the overpower part of Death Trap. I don't think anyone would bet an eyelash if it was just crit, but yeah, has the same rogue and hit in person as a main rogue, still decent, but not much overall. Yeah. Which is fine, I think. So you're telling me that Death Trap is actually still perfectly playable, just not, like, completely broken like it is right now on live server. Which is how it should be. Like, every build should not... It shouldn't be the case that every build is dependent on overpower to get their... like, all their damage up, right? And one other thing, too. DT drops several tiers. You mean like several pit tiers, or you're talking about like tier list pit tier or tier list tiers? Well, I mean, these two are usually synonymous with one another, but you know what I mean. I think. Like, I think there's playable but not mainable. Fair enough. Well, okay. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's how it should be. I just don't think that... I'm sorry, but yeah, I do think that, like, there definitely needed to be some sort of... It might feel bad to see Death Trap go, but no one would want to play any other kind of rogue if they left it as it is in its current state. Was S8 will give it B in S9 PTR? Well, B tier is still fine, and one other thing too. When you say B, like, what is a B tier build? Like, this is one of the issues here. Like, just seeing that letter by itself, I'm like, what comes to mind for me is like an S or S plus tier would be like, you know, doing 10 pit tiers above everyone else, kind of, right? And then A tier would be like some would be the starting point, and then, well, actually, sorry, well, let me try that again. So A tier would be like the baseline, or let's say like pit 90, and then like pit 90 with like good gear and everything, and then S or S plus would be like pit 100 or greater, and then like B tier would be like pit 80, C tier would be like pit 70 or something like that. That's how I imagine it, but of course, I'm not really sure like how other people organize their pit or their tier lists and all that, right? Okay, going this way. Can't push past 85 on pit best case. That's considered B tier? I'm just trying to run the numbers in my head. Yeah, that makes sense, actually. Okay. Sure. To me, I think that's fine. Like, I don't feel bad hearing that at all. Like, why... Well, yeah, I just don't have any reason to feel bad about it. I'm sorry to say. But, yeah, if only I got Seething Hive Master as my pit 55 boss. Yeah, I just don't feel bad about it whatsoever. S is 100 plus minimum. I guess that would make sense in the context of this season. Because, you know, like 2 seasons ago, like, pit 150 would be like the S plus, and then pit 140, I think, was like S or something like that. Was that how they did it? I know they did it differently. Where am I at? 26.5k? Wow. Yeah, I hate this. I hate the fact that I'm gonna be running Pit 55. Like, this is the most painful part about playing Thorns Barb in its current incarnation. I hate the fact that I'm gonna have to wait until I go through all of the ads, all the, like, the mobs, and then I fight. I'll end up fighting the boss at the end, but I have to figure out whether or not it's like Chief Marauder or like I think Mother's what was it? Not Mother's Embrace, but like the wizard that shoots lightning. Yeah, that's like the worst one to deal with. Also, I might have some survivability issues. Here I'm like dog walking Pit 50, but like I don't take any damage from this guy. But Pit 55 actually is quite dangerous for me. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna upgrade this. Oh. 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 Oh, come on, man. 80% chance. I have to do this again. Oh, that's so dumb. Pit tier changed a lot in season 8. Pit tier changed a lot in season 8. Yes. Yes, it did. Yeah, that's very true. I can't believe it. I actually failed twice on a 70% chance. 80% chance, actually. I failed on an 80 and then I failed on a 70. Alright. 1 in 5 and then 1 in... Well, yeah, basically like 1 in 5 and 1 in 5. There's like a 1 in 10 chance of that happening. And it... Wait, no, it's actually worse than that. It's like a 5% chance of that happening. And then it still happened. Huh. That's some pretty bad luck, but whatever. I don't... Uh... You know what? I don't really feel like sorting out my equipment anymore. I would need to leave some of these in my inventory, though, so that I can kind of talk about them. Some potential upgrades. Yeah, these are things I would want to talk about in my video later. About what to look out for when you're doing pit, or when you're trying to like play the Thorns Barb and pit push and all that. I should also repair this. Okay, my elixirs and incense are wearing off, so I'm just gonna let them fall off for now. Because of that failed run, I have to try it again. Like, I'm probably gonna run like a pit 45 after this and try to upgrade my glyph and hope that I don't fail it like 4 times in a row again. Okay, I'm gonna stop the recording here really quickly, but just before I do, Infinite Axe, your calc is off of S8 scaling. Oh, okay. Oh, you're actually hand making the calculations? That's pretty impressive. I am rogue main and done all types. Oh, okay. All right. So let me show you something. I'm gonna stop the recording here for a second. Where is my druid? Companion ing? I never remember which companion. I know. Okay, I know it's not companions, companions, companion. Uh, companioning. It might be companioning. Okay. Oh shoot! No, this is the wrong one. Okay, so this is companioning. It's not companioning. It's, I think, companion. Maybe it's companioned. Oh yeah, I think this is it. All right. I just want to understand why. Do I have? Okay, I can. It should be fine. I think I did pit 55, right? Okay, here. Let me go in here really quickly. I am trying to wrap my head around one simple question. Okay.
I hope what
Yeah,
you
let me pull these guys together. Actually, let me send my wolves in. Okay, so my regular hits on wolves, you can see my highest damage number so far is 25 million, right? Waiting for it. Okay, I'm gonna cast one more. Why is it the... Well, I guess that's not really as crazy as I'm trying to make it out to be, but basically what I was trying to show was, um, I guess it's fine. Whatever. Never mind. I take back what I said. When I was testing in the pit earlier, I could see that there we go. I saw like an orange, like 110 million. But I guess that's not a fair comparison. Like it's hard to see all these numbers. When I saw the crit over, or when I saw the regular yellow crits, I was hitting for like 10, like 15 to 20 million. But then when I see the orange numbers, they're like 100 million. So the point I was going to try to make was, why is it that my yellow hits are like 40 million, but then or like are like 20 million, and then my crit overpower is like 100 plus million? Like, why am I being incentivized to play as, even when I'm playing a companion druid, why is like the most effective available build still gonna be overpower, or like to build these guys, right? That's what I was gonna say. I still see 31 million. I don't really see the right damage numbers here. Oh shoot, do that right. Uh, okay, and I just need one more. 33 million. I think it's fine. Yeah, maybe crit overpower is actually like bearable now. I take it back. Druid has different scaling. They change how Rogue operates with overpower. It's a class change more than a damage bucket change. You think so? I mean, you said that it doesn't really affect Barb much. I wonder if that would have been because of the, well, because they have ridiculous amounts of life. Just off the fact they can wield 4 weapons. I still don't understand that. I don't get that balancing, but sure. Whatever. I don't... That's a little ridiculous, but it's almost acceptable. This would be a good time for me to restart my game. I'll keep talking to you while I wait for the game to restart real quick. I just don't want the game to crash on me when I actually have to push pit. Pit's 55, right? They did lower the bucket calc, but they gave Rogue different calc ratio. And this is, you know this because you crunch the numbers, or is there something I'm like missing here? Yeah, because yeah, how would you know something like that? Hmm. Okay. It does take me a while for Diablo 4 to boot back up. Too tired to explain it. Take it as me. Okay. Yeah, no worries. It's all good. I believe you. Truly, I do. I mean, you do seem like the rogue guy. But I'm just trying to. But I'm actually more interested in the first part of what you were saying earlier. You said I am rogue main and done all types. Um, rogue main. Yeah, okay. DT God, I'm pretty tired too, so I understand. I really just wanted to wrap this up because I'm like so close to the end with the Thorns Barb, I can feel it. I'm just over prepping because I don't want to start running pit and then find out that, oh shoot, I don't quite have enough damage because, well, I'm missing a few multiplicative damage modifiers. DT got shafted with the changes. None of the others got any good help to boost them. Said none of the others. Okay. I can kind of see that, I think. I think part of what made Death Trap so strong was overpower, and all the other builds, like no one was ever considering like actually playing any of the other builds for endgame pit pushing on Rogue. And then now this upcoming season, like you said, there's like not really any buffs. I'm like thinking about it in the patch notes. I don't think I saw any real buffs for Rogue, so I don't know like what they're gonna be able to pull off. Anyway, I just realized I should probably leave and come back real quick. Okay, I'm gonna start the recording again. I start the recording. 1 second. Uh, okay. So I got a chance to do the testing on my companion druid. At least on Eternal Realm for the PTR, and I take back what I said completely. I guess it's not nearly as bad as I was originally making it out to be. Uh, yeah, because my complaint, what I was trying to explain was that even despite the nerfs, I still feel like I get so much more damage out of having uh I feel like I get so much more damage if I use overpower versus if I use anything else. But it's like the difference between like a 25 million hit versus like a 50 million hit. It's maybe a little less even. Like the difference between like a 27 million hit to like a 45, I guess, million hit. So something like that. Whereas when I tested it before I started the stream, and I guess, well, yeah, before I started the stream, it was like I was hitting for like 100 million on the crit overpower, versus like 25 million on the crit. But I think that's just because I wasn't really, I wasn't really doing like a fair comparison since there's other modifiers that were taking effect as well. Anyway, that's enough of the yapping of that. I'm just trying to get this fire resistance here, because once I get that, then I can actually replace one of my fire. I'll even do it now, actually. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that's looking pretty good. So I just need to get 2 more, and I can actually cap out on my resistances here. Um, yep. Oh, this is perfect. Okay, good. Pit 50, 45. Yeah, I'm gonna do pit 45 here. Okay, this will probably be the last run that I need to do. I'd already restarted my game too, so I think I'm ready to just do this last pit. And then I'm gonna try to mess around with pit 55 real quick, just to... Well, I don't know if I really need to mess around with pit 55 though. Um... Yeah. Like, I should just go and do it. I actually think I can do it at this point. Like, I don't know if I get much really out of testing it, because I was already doing it earlier, and I could clearly, like, very clearly see that I was capable of handling pit 55, at least the ads. It's just the boss that I don't know if I can take. I think that stems from, uh, you know, I lack single target damage. The PTR nerfed a core calc of rogue builds, especially DT builds. Okay, yeah, others not as much, but no real boosting to those builds. I see. Overall lower classing rogue, no build shrines or pulls ahead. Overall review, Season of Sorcerer. Okay, 2 separate... Again, breaking your comment down. Again, thanks for the core calculation. Oh, I understand. Okay, now I get what you mean. Yeah, okay, first of all, thanks for elaborating. Yeah, even though you said yourself that you're pretty tired, I do appreciate it, because now I can actually kind of break this down, kind of work through them one by one. This is actually kind of relevant to me too, because, you know, I'm going to be playing Rogue next season. Like, I'm going to do what I always do, make one of every character, but it kind of pays to know which character builds in this case might actually be worth considering. But you're basically saying that basically the takeaway from what you're writing here is that all of them are going to be pretty bad. Is kind of my, well, yeah, sort of what I gather. Anyway, but it's not entirely what you said. But let me actually go through all this and then like I'll share my thoughts. Okay, so all rogue got uh yeah, I I wish I could disagree with you, or I wish I could kind of like rebuttal what you said, right? This isn't even coming from like a, oh, well, I mean, you're like a rogue expert, and I'm just a guy who's like kind of just playtesting and whatever. No, it's not that. It's like I get what you mean. I actually fully understand what you mean. Like, because I've seen the patch notes. I didn't really think twice about the patch notes for Rogue, but when I'm like going back through my memory, I realize in my memory there's really nothing on Rogue that really gets me like, oh, well, Death Trap is being nerfed. Now I'll play this build. That doesn't exist. And that's because Rogue is yeah, there's nothing available, actually. You're right. There's actually no replacement. My others is rogue builds. Uh, okay. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I get what you mean. So, like, because this season, Death Trap was, like, crazy busted, right? Everyone was playing Death Trap, or is actively playing Death Trap. And, yeah, Death Trap's really strong. Like, there's no... Like, everyone knows this. But, like, crit overpower is... Like, crit overpower, as with for pretty much every other class in the game too, like, is just so ridiculously strong that, like, the way Death Trap is working right now, it's really just pumping up, like, crit, and then overpower, and then just doing, like, a ton of damage like that. But since they're nerfing overpower into the ground, apparently more so for Rogue, based on what you're telling me, again, I'll take you on face value for that, sure. Now the problem becomes... Now the problem becomes the, hold on a second, sorry. Uh, yeah, here's another boss where I don't think that... I think this one takes a bit longer to deal with compared to the others. But still, I can... Oh, actually, no, he does summon ads. No, I think this boss is actually okay. Anyway, a core calculation for rogues is rogue builds. Okay, maybe it's like the late hour, but I'm not sure. I understand what you mean. This, like, what you mean by that. Oh, shoot. I should actually be hitting this guy. Yeah, okay, I'm killing him. So... Hold on. Nerf to core calc, especially DT builds. Others not as much, but no real... Yeah, you said others not as much, but no real boosting to these builds. So, you know what? I think I get it. You're basically saying that, core calculation for overpower is a core calculation for rogue builds in general. Sorry, tired, and combine those two statements. Okay, I think what I'm trying to, okay, I get what you're saying. When you say core calculation, because I don't understand that terminology, but I think based on what you're telling me, that'd be crazy if the game already crashed. I just restarted it. Hold on a second. Okay, gotta upgrade this challenging cliff. Here we go. Failed. Okay, there we go. Good. No, I don't have enough amethysts. This game. I'm actually actively getting trolled by this game. But I mean, I guess to be fair, I needed to get one more Paragon level anyway, so I can figure something out there. Yeah, sorry, I'm getting a little sidetracked, but yeah, I need to do something to fix this problem, of course. I need 10k fragments, so I'll probably just salvage this one. Okay, I think I'm understanding what you mean now. infinite axe. Okay, give me 2 seconds here though. So I have 1 point, so I can get that. I'll get 1 more point into fire resistance. That'll cap me out, I think, on fire resist, but I guess my... Well, I'll be a little short. I'll still be just like a little bit short when I go into Torment 4, even with the elixirs and incense, but... Well, actually, no, there might be a way to fix that. I'll just do a royal ruby instead. Yeah, I want to do 1 royal ruby. Yeah. 4%. And then if I use the other node, then I'll be like very close to the cap. Okay, I can live with that. Amethysts. Yeah, I'm actually really low on amethysts. Okay, I don't usually do this, but I can totally try to pump this up. Still have some leftover ruby fragments too, so still fine on that side of things. All right, and then maybe I'll do 20. There. So now, I can craft 1 royal amethyst. I think that's what I would need, right? Or is it... Oh no, I actually still need more. This is so stupid. 25. There. I'm like running low on these fragments, but... Okay, there. Now I have enough to upgrade my... Now I have enough to upgrade my glyph. So, I just need to run like the quickest and easiest bit here because the upgrade is free. Too tired to... I can ran too many builds and stuff today. Too tired to properly expand on. Dude, I gotta give you props though. Like, I know this might not mean much to you, but like, I think that's like really impressive that you had the tenacity to go and like test all these different builds. Although I guess you and I are like testing for different things. I'm trying to test the leveling for each of these builds and see like what the minimum feasible level of equipment for each of my... Well, each of these builds are, at least my variation of them. But in your case, you're like testing like endgame, as with many other people, but for rogues specifically. So, okay, sure. Let me try to break down what you said then, based off of how I understand it. So what you're telling me when you say core calculation is that these sources of damage are intrinsic to like pretty much every single rogue build. Like if I'm gonna make a rogue build right now, I very likely will end up using some source of overpower, regardless of if I'm playing Dance of... Or, well, okay, Dance of Knives is the exception in this case, because it's a channeling skill, right? But if I were to play Death Trap, or if I were to play Flurry, or if I were to play like Rain of Arrows, I'm pretty much gonna be using overpower on pretty much every single one of those skills. So okay, right? Like, sure. Then almost every rogue needs overpower. Yeah, that's exactly... Yeah, okay. So now I think I'm starting to get a better grasp of what you're talking about. So now, if I keep that in mind and I look back at your earlier comment... give me a second here. Let me scroll back here a little bit. You said overpower is a core calculation. Yeah, it's a core component essentially. Core calculation for... Oh, no wonder I got confused. A core calculation for rogues is rogue builds. You meant to say a core calculation for rogues is overpower. That makes sense. Okay. All rogues got hit hard. Core calculation. Okay, I think I understand what you mean now. Now everything you're saying is starting to actually make sense to me. So, if... Like, obviously, Earthquakes got overpowered, or got nerfed too, but if I look at, like, Season 7, Earthquakes were also, like, dominating, similar to a lot of overpower builds, right? And so, like, the thing is, if they were to leave Earthquakes untouched, they didn't bother to nerf Earthquakes, but then they nerfed Overpower, all the other builds that were abusing Overpower are obviously gonna take a big hit, whereas Earthquake stays the same. And the thing is, with the Rogue, all of the builds for Rogue are dependent on Overpower, so essentially this is a blanket... Oh, it's Mother's Judgment. Well, I guess this is pit 25, so it's okay. So essentially, every single uh build for a rogue is, except for I guess Dance of Knives, because that one didn't use overpower, is going to take a big hit on their overall level of power. Okay, there we go. Good. Glad I double checked. Made sure I had like enough fragments. Okay. Uh Executioner and Challenger. Good enough. Okay, I think this is it. I think I'm ready to give it my best shot. You get it now, I think. Yes, 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 yes. Now I completely understand what you're talking about. So now with that in mind, just trying to read the rest of what you wrote. The PTR nerfed like over like core component of rogue builds, especially Death Trap. Others not as much, but no real boosting to those builds. Okay, so yeah, because Death Trap was heavily reliant on overpower. But let's say if I wanted to play a Heartseeker rogue, I would still want to overpower. The nerf to overpower doesn't affect Heartseeker as much, but I still lose a lot of damage, and there's nothing to compensate for it. Whereas there's like a lot of sorcerer builds that were dependent on, even just standard crit with like a lot of multiplicative damage modifiers, and those remain untouched. So yeah, now I understand. So essentially, you're from what I gather from what you're saying, um, rogues are gonna have it really rough next season. Crit and OP are biggest things on most rogues, and dipping OP down so much it hurts rogue a lot more than the other class. And some rogues can still do decent without as much hit from the OP drop versus DT especially. Okay, yeah, that's an I get what you're saying. Okay, thanks for clarifying. Now it makes a lot of sense, and that's something how I guess that yeah, I guess that it clears things up for me a lot. I'm trying to read what else you had put. You said that here OP is nerfed for rogue at least, doesn't hit barb as hard. Tested same rogue, did not damage playable but not mainable. Okay. Can't push past 85, best case. And then DT got shafted with the changes. Druid has different scaling. They changed how. Okay, so yeah, Druid does have different scaling. Like even without overpower, like my companions, my wolves are still okay, I guess. I'm kind of worried that Barb will still be like, I mean, look at my Barb, right? Like later, like if I activate all my modifiers, I can get like 25k life, and that gets directly converted into overpowers. So yeah, Barb might still be perfectly okay. I mean, they lose out on quite a bit of damage too, but they still have a lot of. They can still gain a lot from overpower, just because they have absurd amounts of life. They did lower the bucket calculation, or they give Rogue different calculation. Okay, I see. So earlier you're saying that because rogues use like overpower, like let's say 90 or 100% of the time, then they're of course going to suffer a lot more than other builds that occasionally use overpower. And then the other thing you said was overall review, like no build shines or pulls ahead. Yeah, that makes sense. Like I wouldn't be able to tell somebody what I would expect the best rogue to be. Oh, you know what? Maybe poison imbuement with the stupid infinitely stacking damage over time to Roderick Jewel or something would be my best guess. And then Season of Sorcerer. I can understand why you'd say Season of Sorcerer, because Season of Sorcerer, like, what does Sorcerer have? Oh yeah, they have Hydra. Um, are there any other ones that I'm missing? I think that. Oh yeah, I actually am predicting Season of Barb, because really this season dots are really busted, right? So I have a feeling that barbs are just gonna infinitely stack their stupid bleed, and then they're just gonna keep spamming rupture. That's my prediction. Sorry if I was confusing long day. Oh no, it's cool. It's been a long day for me too. But so I completely understand. Like we've both been doing the same thing, like playing on the BTR. I imagine maybe you did some other stuff too. I had to do some other stuff, but yeah, no worries. Okay, in fact, if anything, you shouldn't be apologizing. I'm thanking you for taking the time to at least like properly, I guess, elaborate on what you're talking about, because it really didn't make much sense to me. But now that you've broken it down, I can better understand and appreciate what you mean by everything. Druid has other buckets than rogues and summon bucket damage. Right, yeah. Thought gonna shine more for sure for any rogue, but still doesn't run well. I see. Yeah, I can't really comment on that. I wouldn't know how well it will work for rogue, but I'm just going back to where you said, "Oh, season of sorcerer," and I'm just pointing out I'm not so sure that that will be the case. I think that it's actually going to be a season of barb. I think it's going to be like rupture that takes the cake. Although, yeah, like the Hydra, I really hope that they don't keep it as it is. I think that that's way too strong. Well, not only is it like too strong, but like people are trying to do Hydra burn damage right now as like the best way of playing Hydra, is my understanding. So yeah, Sorcerer have been looking good on tests I've seen. Yeah, same. Sorcerer and Barb are the main two that I've seen that are pretty nuts. Spirit Thorn Spiritborn looks fun. Uh, Druid feels like the forgotten class, I think. From what I've seen, and then Necro, somewhere in the middle. But I think Sorcerer and Barb are looking really strong. All right. I'm gonna take a moment to hit pit 40. No, sorry, pit 50. No, wait. Is it 55? You know what? Um, you're not good on sorcerer, but they run better than what I can do on a sorcerer. Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah, you're saying that, yeah, like other people. Wait, no. You wrote, I'm not good on sorcerer, but they run better than what I can do on a sorcerer. But what I think what you meant to say is, I'm not good on sorcerer, but they run better than what I can do on a rogue. Uh, sorcerer is hard for me. I'm bad at sorcerer attack. Ah, yeah, right. You're talking about in terms of pit pushing. I don't pit push, so I wouldn't know about these sorts of things. I'm not like I don't know these like pit pushing strategies, and I don't really care to learn them because I'm really just trying to help people reach Torment 4. That's like my main shtick, right? Um, yeah, but that's fair. I get what you mean. Sorcerer being hard for you. They run better than what you can do on a rogue, I guess. Yeah. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted to say? I just so we're clear here, I'm actually really enjoying our discussion. I feel like I've learned a lot from just talking to you about Rogue while I'm trying to like level my guy so he can hit pit 55. But I mean, you said yourself you're pretty tired. You've been grinding all day. I assume that you're gonna pass out pretty soon. I want to pass out pretty soon too. And so with that in mind, I am about to hit pit 55. So, you know the drill, right? Like, I usually mute myself when well, yeah, I like mute myself and then I kind of like go over all my gear and I do the Pit 55 run gameplay with no commentary. So, anyway, have a good night, dude. I'm gonna sleep now. Yeah, that's totally fair. This is a good time to do it. If you don't want to stick around for the Pit 55 clear, fair enough. We've had our discussion and this is like perfect timing because if you're not gonna stick around, then um well, yeah, like I'm just gonna do this run and see if I can clear this or not. Gonna lurk it? Okay, all good. I'll be back again tomorrow. We can talk more. Funny enough, we're talking about Sorcerer right now. I'm playing Sorcerer tomorrow, so we'll talk more. Hopefully when I get my stream up then. If you're gonna be swinging by. If not, then well, have fun with whatever you end up doing, and good luck. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. Yeah. Gonna need all the help or all the luck I can get here. Infinite. Okay. Have a good night. I'll talk to you soon. Anyone who's watching the recording, I'm gonna mute myself, and then I'm gonna start the run in about 15 seconds. So I'll see you folks when we begin this run.
us again.
I finally finished it. That was that was very troublesome to put it lightly. Um yeah, I don't think I have I don't think I have much else to say. That one that was hard fought. And honestly, I think around like the 8 minute mark I saw how far away the progress bar was from making it to the end. I thought that it was just over. Like I just did not think I genuinely did not think I'd be able to make it to the end. Um, like I thought that I'd finish killing all the regular mobs with like 5 minutes remaining, and then I'd get to the boss, and then I wouldn't be able to finish it, or that I'd get like a bad boss to fight. Right? Like if I get Chief Marauder, then I lose. But I got lucky. It wasn't. Well, yeah, I got lucky, and it wasn't Marauder. So. Oh, I should actually level this real quick. It'll be this one, yeah. Just so that I can show people that this is the glyph I'd prioritize leveling to 46 first. Okay. Hey, Infinite Axe, you're still here. GG, yeah, thank you. Thank you, really appreciate it. You had said that you were gonna lurk, so, yeah, thanks for sticking around just until I cleared Torment, 4. Yeah, so I'll try to make this quick. Like, I kind of do usually do like a bit of a retrospective at the end and talk about, I guess, kind of my thoughts on how the run went. So yeah, this pit 55, like I said, killing the I don't really know if I have much to say. Like killing the ads was uh they did take a while to die, but they eventually died. Really it's just a question of how long it takes me to reach the boss, or how long the boss takes. So yeah, like I think in this run it took me like 8 minutes to kill the mobs, and then like it took me like 6 minutes to fight the boss, or something like that, or 5 minutes. Yeah, 5 minutes to fight the boss, and I guess 7 minutes to fight the regular, or 7 minutes to fight everything else. And I think that, yeah, I mean, obviously, if I kind of like buff up my health a bit more, if I buff up my strength a bit more, my damage a bit more, right? My thorns a bit more. Did I even get the right rolls for thorns while fortified? I do have thorns while fortified on everything except for my amulet, right? Then yeah, my build could have been in a much better state. But I mean, it is what it is. I didn't have enough obdicite to keep going. Like I could have tried to farm more obdicite to get like rank 8, but I figured I could take it with this level of equipment. Then I was, so that was good. Yeah, about that. About that. What? And then the other thing I wanted to discuss was how did the run go from like start to finish? I guess like level 1 to 60 and Torment 1 to 4. About that, your time calculations. Was that way off? Because I made it into the boss lair at like 7 minutes remaining, right? And then I finished with 2:20 remaining. So the boss fight was about 5 minutes. And then to get from the 15-minute mark all the way to 7 minutes was like 8 minutes of like killing regular monsters. So you were about that timing. Yeah, yeah, I definitely was. I'm just happy that it's done. Uh, yeah, I wasn't sure what to expect on this Thorns run. I knew that, like, going from 1 to 60 on Thorns was going to be the fun part, but going to the boss was the hard part. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to do the build guide and tell people what my barb looked like when I cleared pit 55. But if you were to ask me right now, like, this ain't it, man. Like, having to deal with bosses is like, it's pain. I kind of wonder, like, if I might be better off making a Thorns Whirlwind Barbarian. That actually might not be a bad idea. That could be kind of fun. But anyway, yeah, that could be kind of fun. Like a Whirlwind Thorns Barbarian. Ooh, ooh. Think about that. You're about that timing. Oh, you're not questioning me. You're telling me that that's roughly accurate. Yeah, yeah, I think so. I mean, 2:20 for sure because I literally wrote that down. Like I went back and I checked how much time I had left. But uh, as for the exact timing on everything else, Okay. Yeah, good night, man. If you're hopping off here, then have a good rest. I'm just gonna be yapping for like another couple minutes to talk about what I'm yeah, just my thoughts on the whole Torment 1 to 4 grind and what to expect from here. So yeah, you don't need to hang around for that. I really again appreciate the support a lot. It was a tremendous help having you here talking about things, just discussing stuff. That was fun. And then perhaps most of all, yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me that you hung around and waited for me to do this. Like I know you're dead tired and you want to go to sleep, but uh, you took time out of your sleep just to hang around and watch me complete this pit 55, it seems. So I am very appreciative of that. Okay, you have a good night, and hopefully I'll talk to you tomorrow. So yeah, let me wrap this up. So barb build, Thorns Barb. Um, could the build have been better? Yeah, absolutely. There's so many ways in which I could improve it. Of course, I'm missing at least one board. I could have gotten uh yeah, I mean, I could have gotten a Warbringer board, right? Warbringer board. I didn't really need the legendary note on it, but it did have an extra glyph that I could have used. And then I could have also picked up some resistance to all elements here. And some life. And, oh yeah, where's the life? There was like two nodes of life. Okay, this one is life. And then this one is also life. There you go. So those would have been my big priorities. Trying to like get out on life there. And then of course, I was missing a glyph. Uh, yeah, I was missing this might glyph that would have also given me a nice boost to damage if I have two-handed weapons. Two of my glyphs weren't even legendary, so there is still plenty more room for this build to grow. Plenty more damage that could be done. But at, at the end of the day, like I said, it did comfortably clear pit 55 to unlock Torment 4, and that's what we were aiming for.
Welcome to my home away from home.
So yeah, my gear, most of them, like every item that I had was an ancestral. Okay, every item I had was ancestral. Every item also had a GA roll that was relevant, either strength or max life. I think everything was. Oh wow, everything was actually strength except for this one. Yeah, pretty much everything was strength except for like strength GA except for this. Although that actually makes my gear very easy to talk about because I'll just say, yeah, prioritize strength, max life, and then probably some resistance to keep myself alive. So that'll make it a little easier to talk about my Thorns Barb in the video. Um, yeah. Unlike last season, I don't have the boss powers to carry me for the boss fights, so I have to do things the old-fashioned way and just start beating them to death with my attacks. And I have to get lucky with which boss I spawn, because if it's like one of the Mother's Judgment, there we go. Yeah, if it's like a Mother's Judgment, that thing does not hit me that often. Right? There's like a couple other bad ones, but haven't memorized them all. I just know that Seething Hive Master and like I think Seething Hive Master is best. Den Mother is not bad. But yeah, if I got like Drowned Sea Hag, then I should just quit. Like I should just Alt F4 out. Because I'm not topping that, or I'm not gonna beat that. It would take like forever. But I got lucky with which boss I rolled. I think that's the main thing to keep in mind. Okay, so that's for my Pit 55 clear. I don't know if I can say much there. Expertise. Yeah, I got my two-handed axe and polearm both at rank 10, and I'm using a polearm. That's just standard procedure. I would say abilities. Well, yeah, my skill tree was fine. I have everything that I wanted. Steel Grasp to pull, Flay to gain resource and spend it. Ground Stomp. Or, no, wait. War Cry to increase damage. Challenging Shout to get a substantial amount of thorns, and then of course Wrath of the Berserker, um, to get to do a pull and to get more damage and to get unstoppable and berserking, and then ground stomp to reset it. So, oh right, and Wrath of the Berserker also helps with having brawlers. That was the other reason why I'm using it. One other thing I'm kind of curious about, my thorns. How high could my thorns go? Oh, I'm actually out of fury here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11. I think I'm... Yeah, there we go. Okay, I should be maxed now. So now if I activate this... Yeah, there we go. So the maximum thorns value I could muster is about 38,000. And that entails having like my Zal rune active for more life, activating challenging shout with berserking, because that berserking gives me death wish, um, and then having like 120% thorns from this. And of course, there's plenty more room for growth. Like this also could have been thorns well fortified, but by and large, that was what I was able to muster here. So 33,000 on this. That was good. Anyway, okay, so that's that. And then mercenaries, of course. Yeah, I had Rahir to give me the resistance to all elements. That was very helpful. And then Aldkin to give me the damage reduction when I become injured. But I don't think that I really got to use that. But it's nice to have that as insurance. Um, so yeah, that was my run of Pit 55, Torment 4. As for like the progression from like start to finish, like I'm just gonna summarize it. Uh, Level 1 to 60. I was playing around with like different difficulties, but to be honest, at the end of the day, I do think that committing to normal or hard is the way to go. I spammed a whole bunch of health, like I did health hides, but in hindsight, I think that, well, no, I did a whole bunch of health hides, and then I switched over to nightmare dungeons that had XP attached to them, like much later, around like level 48, rather than doing strongholds. I can see now that that may have been a mistake, and that perhaps what I should have done was I should have just spammed whispers, because if I spam whispers, I get sigil powder, and if I craft sigils with that sigil powder, then I can potentially get the XP nightmare sigils. Um, yeah, I think that would have been the much more efficient way to level. So yeah, that's just kind of my 2 cents on how this went. That's I have to play around with that more tomorrow with my sorcerer. Although this information might be outdated after the PTR, but still, I want to see if like how quickly I can go 1 to 60 if I'm like actually trying to do the most optimal conditions on sorcerer. That's kind of my plan for tomorrow. And then, well, from Torment 1 to 4, what can I say about Torment 1 to 4? I'm just gonna read my notes here really quickly. Uh, I got like okay, it was a razor plate. So I upgraded some of my gear to ancestrals, and I got a razor plate, and then that brought me to like pit 25. Wait, no, hold on. Same gear as pit 10. So my gear going into like Torment 1 pit 10 was enough to get me to like pit 20 with like 6.5 minutes remaining. I needed to unlock Torment 2, I needed like Weapons Master Legendary note. Like basically like I guess it wouldn't be very easy for me to summarize how my Torment 1 to 4 journey went. Like normally I would say, "Oh yeah, I just need like 1 or 2 legendary nodes and all that." But all I can say is I had some ancestrals, and I had 1 or 2 legendary nodes to unlock Torment 2. Um then I got a razor plate, and the razor plate I think got me from Torment 2 to like pit 35. And then I needed to like masterwork all my equipment uh and get Shard of Rathiel to unlock pit 40 for Torment 3, right? And then after that, I pretty much upgraded all my equipment. Um, well, not just my equipment, but I leveled my glyphs and my got a bunch of like Paragon boards and nodes and all that, right? So yeah, yeah. I guess the easiest way to put it is get ancestrals for Torment 1 to 2, get uniques from Torment 2 to 3 with, filling out the rest of the ancestrals and also masterworking. And then to get from Torment 3 to 4 is just a question of damage. And in order to get damage, that's like why I had to level 2 of my glyphs to 46 and beyond. And I also picked up, surprisingly, max life. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong one. Here it is. Max life rare nodes, or max life Paragon nodes, because that directly boosts my life, which in turn boosts my challenging shout. So that's basically how my run went. And then, of course, from there, it's just a matter of picking the right boss. Because if I'd gotten like Mother's Judgment or something, I would have been for a very difficult time. I would have had to re-roll the boss, but yeah, I got lucky and I didn't have to re-roll it. That is an unfortunate drawback of Thorns Barb without the boss powers from last season. Um, yeah, the nature of the build is just that, yeah, I'm kind of at the mercy of whatever the game throws at me. So that's too bad, but that's how it is, I think, if I'm playing pure Thorns. And then, of course, the Herodic powers, maybe if I were to max this out, it could have been really good. Maybe when the season goes live, these will be buffed. I don't know right now. But what I can say is these were largely underwhelming, at least in terms of raw damage, but they did give some pretty cool effects, like applying Vulnerable, so give and take. Um, at the end of the day, boss powers made things so much easier. Like, I think my run in the previous season was only like 8 hours long. Now it's like 13 hours, so just to put into perspective just how much of a difference the boss powers made. But anyway. Alright, that's enough talking from me. That's enough yapping. As is tradition, I'm going to go to Kmart, Kyovashad, aka Kmart, and I will be ending the stream here, and probably going to call it for the night. Uh, yeah, and I'm going to do some uploading of videos and all that, so fun stuff. Alright. Well, folks, as always, hope that those of you who joined in had fun watching. I'll be back again live tomorrow with some Sorcerer gameplay, probably Incinerate Sorcerer, but I'll finalize it tomorrow morning, what I decided to play. But until then, yeah, appreciate y'all tuning in. Oh wait, no, I gotta switch the difficulty first. There we go. Torment 4, finally. Done. And then I can move on to the Sorcerer. So, appreciate y'all tuning in. Hope you all had fun watching. Thanks everyone for watching, and venture out.